Hey, thanks for coming on this week's podcast. This week, we're going to talk about building your insurance agency website. Kind of let me start off and introduce myself. My name is Ken French. I think it's important you understand that myself and my entire staff, we grew up in the insurance industry. I grew up on kind of the life and health side. We used to have a family business that was kind of like a general agency, an FMO. Our clients were independent agents who sold employee benefits, health insurance, Medicare, life insurance. And back in the late 90s, I joined the business and they made me the technology guy. And next thing you know, I had insurance brokers coming to me. This is 1999, 2000, saying, "Hey, I think I might need one of these website things." So I tried to build a few, realized I was not very good at it. So I hired a few programmers to kind of come in and form a department in that company to really help me help my agents, use technology. To make a long story short, about 10 years later, we ended up selling the business right before healthcare reform. Again, it was a family business. My father and uncle had gotten old. They retired, sold the business, and when they sold it, I took my department and we formed Snoozy to keep doing what we were doing, which was helping independent agents with websites and social media. Um, and that's kind of my background. So, what I want to talk about today is really having some sort of thought process, some sort of strategy with your insurance website. And this doesn't matter if it's just you and you're an independent agent working from home, or maybe you're a small agency, that has multiple employees. The number one thing I get when people call me up is usually they've tried before, right? They've had a website. They probably have felt like they spent way too much money, way too much time, and didn't get any results. And one of the things that I even get a lot of bitterness from people is I had this company and they charged me all this money and they told me I'd be number one on Google and I didn't get anything out of the website and I'm really frustrated. So usually what I try to do when I start off with people, I go, look, let's forget about the past. Here's the reality. After COVID, pretty much every insurance broker got a website. So in this day and age, you kind of need to have one for credibility. One of the things I'm going to mention throughout this presentation, I'm a big believer in retention, generating referrals, and cross-selling products. And I think it's pretty hard today to do any of those without a website. So the first thing I tell guys is I go, look, I'm not here to promise you're going to be number one on Google. It's pretty hard. You're competing against the insurance carriers, you're competing against your uplines, you're competing against lead generation companies. All of these entities, they have a lot more money than you. They have a lot more technical savviness than you. It's just hard. It's not a fair fight. On the flip side, like I said, you need to have a website for credibility. And I think the thing that I always try to talk to people about is how can we build something that's going to help you and your business? And at the bare minimum, we need to build a website that you can send people to do things. That usually starts off and makes the project a lot more viable, right? If you, the agent, say, well, I have this website and this is what it does for me, I have these 5 things that I can use each day with it, becomes a lot more valuable to you. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is yes, you need a website, but you don't need a billboard that says, "Hi, my name is Bob and I sell life and health." That's not good enough. Not today. You need to have something that's functional, something that's well balanced. So for me, I think your website needs to have 3 important sections in it. Section number 1, you have to have branding. Section number 2, you have to have solutions, right? Basically, what do you do? What does your company offer? And more importantly, section number 3, you have to have functionality in the site. You got to have reasons to send people to the site to do things that can make you more efficient. Obviously, it can help you cross-sell because now they're on your website and they start to see you do these other things. So those are the 3 components I feel need to be in place. When we talk about branding, we're talking about information about you. If you have a staff and a team, they should be on there. So at least your picture, at least a little bit of a biography about why someone would want to work with you. Number 2, you need to have the carriers you represent on there. Number 3, you really should have some testimonials from clients. And most importantly, if you have a social media presence, Give people the ability to find it and access it through clicking on a Facebook button or a LinkedIn button. So, again, in general, here's how I look at this. The insurance industry is a referral business. Everyone who's ever been super successful, the referrals flow in. And the thing that I try to stress is you never know the referral who doesn't call you because they just couldn't learn enough about you. They couldn't feel comfortable enough to call. Back in the old days, maybe they just called because they had no other option. But now there are options. It's called the internet. To learn more, right? This is how people shop now. They go on the internet, they do their diligence. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say with branding is imagine that somebody's been referred to you and imagine that that person has had maybe a bad experience working with other insurance agents in the past. They're nervous. They're not comfortable calling you. They want to feel better about working with you. So if you can supply a little bit more information, your picture, if you can have testimonials from people that you've helped, if you have an active social media presence where this person can see what you're about, what you're doing, it's going to increase the chances that they're going to reach out to you. So that's the first section, obviously very important. The second section, a little bit more common sense, right? You got to let people know who you are and what you do. If you specialize in Medicare and life insurance, then you should have sections about Medicare and life insurance. You should have educational videos about these products. If you have a very specific carrier that you really like to sell all the time, you should probably have PDFs, documents that go to these plans so people can have more information, or more importantly, you can send them there to kind of download these or print them out rather than emailing people. Obviously, having some frequently asked questions is also a good thing. Again, I can't stress enough. Put yourself in the shoes of a consumer. The consumer is now used to going on to Amazon, typing in, I want to see a kid's fishing rod, and looking at all the fishing rods, looking at all the specs, looking at all the testimonials. This is how the consumer's brain is now functioning. You need to make sure that you're kind of presenting yourself in a similar fashion because you never know if you're being compared to a competitor and your website is the first impression this consumer gets. So obviously letting people know your focus and a little bit more information about the products is going to create a better atmosphere of what you can provide. The most important section, though, is the functionality section. And this is something that, like I said in the beginning of the webinar, usually the conversation goes, look, I've had a website. I've never gotten any results. I've never gotten any leads. I've never gotten anything out of it. And usually the first question I ask is, well, how often do you ever send people on the website to do things? Well, never. I never send anyone to my website. Well, there's a big problem, right? I mean, I'm a big believer in doing things for free. How do we get free traffic to our website? Well, the easiest thing is to have reasons to send people there. If you can get somebody going on your site and doing something simple, the odds of them telling their friend about you and sending their friend to your website increases. So I think that's the mentality we need to have. I need to have reasons to get people on the site. If you're selling Medicare supplements, you probably should have a standalone dental personalized link on there. Every time someone bothers you, hey, what about dental insurance? You can go to my website. You can click on Shop for Dental. You can see the pricing. You can see the waiting period. I know you don't make a lot of money with dental, but that's the point. You save the time of talking to that person for 30 minutes and it going nowhere. And now you have a reason to send them to your website where they can see the pricing. They're very happy with that. They can see the details. But maybe when you do that, they see that you do annuities or they see that you do life insurance and you cross-sell them that instead. So having your personalized enrollment links on the site can strategically be a good place to refer people if it fits your strategy. Again, having good videos that maybe you've developed that review the different things in your processes, I think are important. Obviously, having very simple fillable forms and a needs analysis questionnaires can be very helpful. Just an example, I had a client who was gearing up for open enrollment and AEP, and they want to get all of their clients' updated information before that season starts. So we created a very simple fillable form on the site where the consumer can go and update their information. Again, something simple, but a reason to get them on the site. Obviously, if you're doing events and training seminars, letting people see the schedule and registering, something simple, something that can easily be built into the site. Now, there's other things too. Obviously, a lot of you have started to use scheduling software like Calendarly or Google Calendar. You can easily build a button into your site where people can click on it and go into your schedule. Um, Facebook has developed what's called an online chat integration tool where you can integrate Facebook Messenger right into your website and people can online chat with you. One of the things that I think is important is everything I'm talking about is totally free. Okay. It's not like you have to go spend money to do this. I mean, obviously, if you're working with a company who's going to build the site, there's an associated cost with that. But using Facebook's chat, using Calendarly, these things are all free. There's no cost. So, in my opinion, there's no excuse for at least considering it. Obviously, if you're more into the property and casualty world, letting people file claims, make payments, request certificates and help, those are easy things that can easily be built into your site that, in my opinion, the consumer would love to be able to do, and one of the things I always get is well, my clients are old or my clients aren't technologically savvy. Sure, I'm sure that's possible. And you have to use your best judgment when you're talking to them to not refer those types of people. But in this day and age, I don't buy it. There's a lot of people out there that are very technologically savvy. They have smartphones. They would be more than happy to be able to do this stuff on the site. And I think having these tools gives you a reason to get people on the site, which in the end is going to help you get more referrals and it's going to help you cross sell more products. So if this sounded interesting, what I suggest is check us out at snoozy.com. Again, we specialize in working specifically with independent insurance agents. We build sites and we can build them in about a week and we can integrate all these things we talked about. The first step, though, is I would like to chat with you, get a sense for where you're at, what you're trying to do, and pretty much figure out if I can help you and I'm a good fit. So hopefully some of these thoughts and ideas were helpful. They give you some thoughts on strategy. And we look forward to next week's podcast. Thanks again and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.